All right, so first up, we have Steve Grieve, who is the director of Grieve Gillette Anderson Architects based here in Adelaide. Steve actually graduated in architecture from New South Wales, but he's actually been practicing as a registered architect in South Australia since 1978. He has great experience in the realm of architecture from projects big and small, but some of his projects also include some of Adelaide icons like the recently completed Anzac Century Memorial Walk, the National Wine Center, the Lion Arts Center, the Jam Factory, and if I'm not mistaken, this building as well? No. No? Okay.
You are mistaken.
I am mistaken.
We did a festival here.
Oh, we did a festival, and they also did the depot here as well. So everyone, welcome Steve.
I'm going to talk a little bit about an aspect of sustainability rather than sustainability in a holistic sense, and I'll explain why very quickly. Location is a major issue in this case. That's Goolwa. That's the location of, for those of you who don't know Goolwa, that's Hindmarsh Island on the right and the dreaded Hindmarsh Island Bridge. And our site is around here, which is here, only a couple of 100 metres from breaking surf. So the major thing about this site, about our project in this case, and this is my house by the way, is that we had to deal with wind, rain, and the rain brings with it salt and sand. So it's like living in an environment that is constantly getting wet sandpaper thrown at you. So corrosion brought about the consideration, that's on a nice day. This is a quick floor plan just so that you know the house. It's fairly conventional. The sand dunes are at this end. North is that way, so north is to the right of the screen, and it's a pretty conventional floor plan. Won't go into that much. That's upstairs. The living areas are upstairs to take advantage of the connection with the sand dunes, and the site. That's the house. So the materials were the major driver of the consideration of sustainability, I guess, and that it's a highly corrosive environment. For our sins, we chose timber, stainless steel minimally, aluminium minimally. I was going to say that the aluminium windows are made from recycled Coke cans, but I can't really say that. It'd be good if they were though. And then simple management of water, collection of water, and using the sun and providing protection from the winds and rain. So I'm just going to run through a bunch of slides that gives you an overview of the house. The house also looks to the north towards the Murray River, Hindmarsh Island over there on the right. You've already seen that in the, and that's the rear of the house facing the dunes. The house, we've been living on this particular site for 20 years. The house is about 5 years old now. That photograph was taken not long after it was completed, so much of the timber is in fact greyed off, which will continue to do so. In terms of materials, the timber selected, I spent a lot of time researching timber for this house. We ended up using a timber called Pacific teak. It's a plantation timber grown in the Solomon Islands. So from a sustainability point of view, we've been sustaining a remote community in the Solomon Islands. One could look at it that way. The advantage of this particular timber is that its shrinkage is about 1%. Australian hardwoods shrink as much as 8 and 9%. So in terms of long-term sustainability and allowing water ingress into the timber itself, it's minimal in this case. it is performing very well after 5 years. That's just a night shot. So here's some of the, you can see here that it's weathering. All of the timber in that image pretty much is the Pacific teak, except for this, which is an Australian hardwood beam. The main issue about this house was to engage with the dunes, which is also, of course, the source of all of the corrosive elements. But the dunes are fabulous, and they're very stable. We're on about maybe at least the tertiary dune, so it's not moving anywhere. The house has got one downpipe, one gutter, one downpipe. I felt that was really important because having lived there in an earlier place that was built in the 60s, constantly the gutters were filling with sand, not working, spilling water all over the place. This is a very generous gutter, stainless steel, 400 millimetres wide, single, as I said, straight into the rainwater tanks. We've only got one source of heating, which is a slow combustion heater, timber. One of the other aspects, a major aspect, is the fact that we want it to have high levels of amenity. I can't see that right. I'm going to really race now. High levels of amenity, which means lots of natural light in the house, natural light, different times of day. That's in the afternoon. That's sunrise, so it's getting light from all sorts of different levels. Internally, we've used lots of timber. Connectivity through the house, so from one space to another, you can look through the kitchen out at the dunes. This is the system of the window system, which conventional enough, sliding doors, but the louvers on the right are a bit of a trick. We needed cross ventilation, so ventilation is generally, particularly at night, via the louvers on the left there, high level louvers there, shade of course, and that doesn't let blowing high level wind through. It lets a sort of a gentle breeze, so that's why we use that. We've got solar panels. We haven't paid for electricity since we've been there, and in fact these panels have paid for themselves, so they've done very well. We got in early and got a very good subsidy for returning to the grid, I must say. But they shade the back, the southern facing deck in the summer, so they provide shade. I've always felt it's really dumb when I see panels shading a roof. Let's shade persons with the panels. That's our solar hot water heater, an evacuated tube, which you've seen, and I'm really going to race now. This is my system of shade on the front. High tech, very high tech, this one. You can see that it moves in and out in different seasons. It's got to be solid like that because it's so windy. You can't use shade cloth or anything like that. It just gets destroyed. That's it. That's my high tech fixing device to stop it blowing around. It works beautifully. The other thing is corrosion, as I said, is a big problem. So all of the timber has got copper caps on the end to protect them. And as I was saying, corrosion is the big worry for me down there. And if corrosion doesn't get you, the rough surf, the strong currents, or the snakes will. Thanks.